Today, I'm gonna spend 100 days in Pixelmon, but I can only use Fire-type Pokemon. In order to become the ultimate Fire-type champion, I'll have to complete these 5 goals. First, I need to gather up 6 strong Fire-type Pokemon and get them all to level 100. Next, I want to get 3 Fire-type shinies and 3 Fire-type legendaries. And finally, for this challenge, I want to get a Fire-type fusion. Can I complete all of these challenges in the next 100 days? Watch the rest of the video to find out. Also, make sure to subscribe, because once we reach 16,000 subscribers, I'll spend 100 days using nothing but Paradox Pokemon. Without further ado, here's 100 days of using nothing but Fire-type Pokemon. I started off my adventure by choosing Cyndaquil, which also happened to be a shiny. To get a major head start in my challenge, I started collecting these treasure chests all over spawn. They give tons of special items that will help me out a lot, including several common lucky blocks and an uncommon lucky block, a master ball, a paper that allows me to claim a specific Pokemon, and finally a fusion shard as my last reward. Since I did all that I could at spawn, I used the command /RTP to randomly teleport somewhere in the wild. I then continued to open up my lucky blocks and at least got 1 fire type out of it, which was Charmander. Sadly, the uncommon lucky block gave me a shiny Steelix, which I'm not able to use. Now that I've opened up all the lucky blocks, it was time to venture out. I remembered, however, that I had a specific Pokemon paper, which allowed me to claim any non-legendary Pokemon. Of course, I saw this as a golden opportunity to redeem Slitherwing. Okay, I made a big mistake here. Apparently, Slitherwing is a bug and fighting type, and I just assumed it was a fire type cause, you know, Volcarona and Iron Moth are. This sadly meant I couldn't use it. I started day 7 by making some money. I was paid $50,000 to help hunt a Cubone with the hidden ability Battle Armor. To do this, I was temporarily given a Porygon with the ability Trace that would allow me to identify what ability the wild Cubones had. Now I know Porygon is a normal type, but trust me, I didn't use this to help me in any other way other than just doing my job, and yes, I traded it back once the outbreak ended. I ended up using the money I earned to buy myself a Firestone, which I then combined with an orb that I got from hunting down the chests earlier to create an orb of fiery souls. If I defeat 375 Pokemon, it'll fill up and allow me to summon Moltres. But in order to take down lots of wild Pokemon, I needed strong Pokemon of my own, so I fed Charmander and Cyndaquil with enough candy to evolve them both. I then continued training them up, defeating several wild Pokemon before deciding to feed them some candy yet again to have Charmeleon evolve into Charizard and Quilava evolving into a Hisuian Typhlosion. And to end this day off, I claim my Battle Pass rewards, getting yet another specific Pokemon paper, which I used to get Blaziken. I also had 2 lucky blocks and finally experienced some good fortune as my uncommon lucky block upgraded into a rare lucky block. I was guaranteed a legendary Pokemon now. I was super excited, but unfortunately got a Regigigas. Since it's a normal type, I'm not allowed to use it. Now it was time to build a house. I collected a lot of wood and other materials. In the past, my houses have not looked the best, that's why I gave it my all for this one build. After a couple of days, this is what I managed to build. I totally did not rip this off from Google. Also, the only reason why it took me so long to build this house was because my internet was straight up doo-doo. At the start of the next day, I devoted my time to fill up the orb of fiery souls by defeating countless wild Pokemon. There's really nothing much to say here, that's literally all I did, until the orb was finally fully charged. This allowed me to summon Moltres from its shrine, and well, I wasn't about to kill my hard work, so I threw my Master Ball at it, and I finally caught Moltres. After buying pieces of obsidian from the shop, I built myself a nether portal. I honestly thought this is where I'd be able to find lots of fire types, but for some reason, no Pokemon were spawning. And trust me, I looked as far as I could throughout the entire nether, but there was just no Pokemon here. Feeling disappointed, I teleported yet again randomly somewhere in the wild to look for more fire-type Pokemon. I came across and caught both a Sizzlipede and a Darumaka, which meant I finally had a full team of fire-type Pokemon. I used some leftover EXP candies to evolve Sizzlipede into Centiskorch, and then Darumaka into Darmanitan. Also, this guy somehow found my house, which was kind of strange. I decided not to think about it too much, and instead focus my attention towards beating the gym leaders. I faced off against the first gym leader, which specialized in electric-type Pokemon. Typhlosion took out both Jolteon and Yamper before being taken out by a Geodude that barely held on because of its ability Sturdy. Centiskorch came in and wiped the floor with the rest of the Pokemon until a Voltorb decided to self-destruct, declaring me the winner, and awarding myself the first gym badge as well as a few good items such as a Fusion Shard. Before challenging the second gym, I trained up my team a bit at the level grinder, and after a while, I went back and challenged the second gym leader. They stood no chance against my fire-type Pokemon, and now I had the second gym badge. Feeling confident, I wanted to continue my streak, until I saw that the third gym leader wasn't even here. I was kind of confused, but decided to see if I could just challenge the fourth gym leader, and well, yeah, I could. Unfortunately, they had a team full of super powerful ground-type Pokemon that laid waste to my team in a matter of seconds. To try and lift up my spirits, I decided to open up some vote crates, and well, I had around 180 vote keys. You see, every time you vote for the server, which is completely free by the way, you get these vote keys that allow you to open up vote crates. This gives you either half-decent items like Pokeballs and whatnot, all the way to Fusion Shards, Master Balls, and even shiny Pokemon. And when you open up 180 vote crates at once, sometimes you get blessed with a little bit of luck. I just got a Fusion Core, the rarest item you can get from this crate. It is worth around $250,000 on the server, and this is the most important item you need when it comes to making fusion Pokemon. After opening up all the crates, I trained up my team quite a bit before rebattling the fourth gym leader. I did much better this time, but I still ended up losing. So I knew that I needed to improve my team, so I used up all the rare candies I had to get Charizard, Typhlosion, and Moltres to level 100. I also saw that I was just one Fusion Shard away from making myself a Fusion Key, so I checked the GTS and sadly did not see any for sale, so I asked in chat if I could buy it from someone and eventually struck a deal to buy one for $25,000. I finally had everything I needed to craft myself a Fusion Key. All I needed to do now was to make a Fire-type fusion. Now I could go for a fusion between Charizard and Aggron to make Agrazard, but instead of doing fusions I've done already, I wanted to create one I haven't done before. My search eventually led me to a savanna biome, where I was lucky enough to find a wild Pignite. This was great, as all I needed now was a Meltan to create the fusion known as Melbor. After I evolved Pignite into Emboar, I went straight into a cave so that I could mine tons of cobblestone to make lots of furnaces. I then spent the next few days mining ores, and also found a tidal bell which, if I'm lucky enough, could spawn Lugia one day. Now that I had a ton of ores, I started smelting them all in the furnaces. Unfortunately, when I went to collect the smelted ores, Meltan did not spawn. But to be fair, it's expected when it only has a 1 in 3072 chance of spawning from smelting ores. At first, I thought about going back to mine more ores, until I realized Pixelmon did have an update and actually Meltan spawns from mystery boxes now. I was about to spend good money in buying all the required materials to craft one, until a server admin basically told me mystery boxes were disabled. But then they said that smelting ores should still spawn Meltan, so that's all I needed to hear to start mining again. And once I had a full inventory worth of ores, I started smelting it all in hopes this was enough. I eagerly collected all of the smelted ores thinking it would obviously spawn, but I got super shocked when I realized I had collected everything and Meltan still did not spawn. I decided to try one last time, and even though I smelted so many sacks of ores, I still did not get Meltan to spawn. Just to put it into perspective, I smelted so many ores that I actually became number 2 on the smelting leaderboards. At this point, I just gave up on getting Meltan, so I looked elsewhere for potential fire-type fusions. When I opened up the GTS, I saw an Entei for sale for $150,000, which is just way too expensive for an Entei. but I knew as long as I did buy one, I could fuse it with my Moltres to get Eruptress. So I grinded at the boss tower, defeating boss type Pokemon to collect their drops, then selling it at the Pokemart. I basically did this over and over again until I had enough money to buy Entei. And just to make this fair, even though I bought a legendary Pokemon, I'm not going to count it towards our goal of catching 3 fire-type legendaries, as I'm just going to use it to fuse anyways. So now it was time to place both Moltres and Entei into the fusion machine, and out came Eruptress. It just looked so incredible, and it was super big too. Getting Eruptress meant that we can now tick off one goal from our list. To finish this day off, I took some leftover rare candies we had and used them to level up our entire team to almost level 100. Sadly, Darmanitan was missing out on 5 levels. Also, as I was just minding my own business, I saw a shiny Drifloon fly by in the corner of my eye. Thankfully, I was able to catch up and eventually caught another shiny. It doesn't count as it's not a fire type, but hey, a shiny is a shiny. I continue my adventure by building a battle arena right next to my house. I figured that fighting random people on the server will allow me to see whether or not my team is strong or not. I also made sure Darmanitan leveled up to level 100 so that I had a full team of level 100 Pokemon. Now that I was ready, I asked in chat to see who would like to have a Pokemon battle, and eventually I found a challenger. For the first battle ever with this team, I actually did pretty well. I managed to take out half of their team before being destroyed by Garchomp. This battle was super helpful in understanding my team. I knew that there were still more fire types I could catch to make my fire type team even stronger, such as this Delphox that took me nearly an entire day to catch. I also fished at this lava pool for more fire types, but after a couple of minutes, I was only encountering Torkoal and Magcargo. That's when I decided to warp into the Ultra Space dimension, thanks to a kind player by the name of Telgor. Here I explored the Ultra Space biomes in search of special fire-type Pokemon, but what I stumbled upon shocked me, as I came across a Pheromosa. This is an Ultra Beast that has a super rare chance at spawning. Even though I caught it, I don't plan on using it, since it's a bug type. But I did come across this Magmortar, which I actually caught, but spoiler alert, I never used it. My luck, however, was at an all-time high, as I came across yet another Pheromosa. Since I already caught one, I allowed another player to have it. Oh, would you look at that. This is the third Pheromosa I've seen so far. I just gave it to some random player and walked off. While I was exploring the Ultra Space, I happened to come across yet another shiny. This shiny Swalot wasn't a fire type, so sadly it doesn't count. But regardless, I'm happy I found a shiny anyways. After days of hunting, I finally came across what I've been looking for all this time. It was this future paradox version of Charizard called Iron Wings. After using up all of my Ultra Balls, I was finally able to catch Iron Wings. I quickly swapped out Centiskorch for Iron Wings and spent the rest of the day training it up to level 100. Surprisingly, once it reached level 100, it was able to learn a custom move called Plasma Blaze. I didn't even know these Paradox Pokemon had custom moves, but I guess you learn something new every day. Once I had my team prepared, I went back to challenge some gym leaders and saw that the third gym leader was finally here. It was no match for my fire-type Pokemon though, as I was able to get the third gym badge without too much trouble. But when I tried to battle the fourth gym leader, I wasn't allowed to bring along my fusion Eruptress. This meant I had to substitute it for this battle, and yeah, it did not go well. The ground type team was just way too strong against my fire type Pokemon. I decided to take my Pokemon elsewhere and challenge the Sired NPC at spawn. I wasn't doing too bad, until he sent out Landorus, which just so happens to be a legendary ground type Pokemon. So the battle went as expected. I knew I had to improve my team, and I could do that by EV training my Pokemon. Since I already used them a lot, I had to feed them specific berries that would decrease EV points of things like defense or HP, which I didn't really care about, so that I could focus on improving the more important stats like speed and attack. This took me a while, but eventually I had my whole team fully EV trained to perfection. But since gym leaders have cooldowns, I'll have to wait till I can do my rematch again later and actually focus on my main goals, such as catching 2 more fire type shinies and catching 2 more fire type legendaries. Luckily, I was able to fly to a desert biome, and within a couple of minutes, I had already found a shiny Cacnea. Still not a fire type, but it was still pretty cool. It didn't take me too long and I already found another shiny, and luckily this was a shiny Numel, which counts towards my goal as it's a fire type Pokemon. I camped around the desert for a very long time until I finally came across a Groudon. Surprisingly, I caught it with a Pokeball. Now I understand that Groudon is not a fire type, but once I get the red orb and equip it on Groudon, he will be able to transform into his primal form, which is both a ground and fire type. But for now, I focused on training up Groudon by first EV training it and then leveling it up to level 100. Although I still needed to get a red orb to officially secure myself a fire type legendary, I would still need to catch a third one to actually complete my goal. So when I flew around and spotted this massive platform in the middle of a savanna biome, I decided to use it as Victini could spawn here. Platforms are extremely useful as it spawns all the Pokemon on this flat surface, making it very easy to see the wild Pokemon. But let's say you want to clear the platform. All you'd have to do is teleport away, wait a few seconds, and then warp back. All the Pokemon will despawn when you do this, allowing more Pokemon to spawn, increasing your chances of finding shinies or even legendaries. I did this for a while and managed to find myself a shiny Flittle. And by the time we reached day 85, I finally spotted our last fire type shiny. It was this beautiful blue shiny Ponyta. Catching this meant we had finally caught 3 fire type shiny Pokemon. Anyways, while I was still on the platform, I found this really cool Honedge. But I also found a lot of people here. I'm not sure why they decided to teleport to me, but I guess I had more people to practice battling with. I had a Pokemon battle against Clouds that I ended up losing, but I was able to bring it back against Ilham and win, which was crazy considering that he had both a Primal Groudon and a Primal Kyogre on his team. Now I did spend a while in the Nether building this platform in hopes for Heatran to spawn, but I'll be honest, I kind of just bought a Megastone crate using the leftover vote points I had and sort of just forgot about it. Unfortunately, I got a Megastone for Blastoise, which really sucked. But hey, an event was about to take place. An admin would hide a gold statue of Vulpix somewhere around spawn, and the first person to find it wins a special prize. There were 2 rounds and I really tried to win one of them, but sadly I lost both rounds. Now I know I'm running out of time, but I still used up an entire day to hang out with some awesome people, which allowed me to walk through their entire town and just look at their amazing houses. I did try to give this guy the Blastoise Megastone, but someone else yoinked it. But after a while, in return, they gave me a Charizardite Y. I was extremely happy until I realized I can't even Mega Evolve my Charizard until I get myself a Mega Band from defeating a Mega Boss. Well, whatever. I still needed to catch another Fire-type legendary, and I did so by finding a Badlands biome, then digging down till I found a natural lava source. I met basically all the requirements for a Heatran to spawn, and to pass the time I started fishing here hoping to find a Mega Shards to craft a red orb. It took a long time, but finally Heatran spawned while I was fishing, the third and final Fire-type legendary I needed for this challenge. But it's not over yet. I still needed to fish up 10 Omega Shards so that I could make a red orb for Groudon. I moved to a desert biome to fish in lava because apparently I can only fish it up in specific biomes. I didn't have a lot of time left, but I fished as much as I could, getting Omega Shards every now and then. Slowly but surely, I was feeling more confident with every shard I fished up. I also had some kind of glitch where I would fish up Pokemon, but I wasn't able to battle them, which actually made fishing go by much faster. Eventually this glitch was fixed and I actually saw some sparkles in the lava which came from a shiny Magmar that I was able to catch. Eventually I fished up the last shard and was able to create the red orb. I quickly put it on Groudon and just to make sure, I battled some random Pokemon and yeah, there it was. Primal Groudon. The last and final fire-type legendary I needed for this challenge. Now that I had basically achieved all of my goals, and also found the shiny Raticate around my house, I decided to have one last Pokemon battle against the Sired NPC. I started the battle by sending out Heatran, which quickly got one-shotted by a high jump kick. Charizard was able to clutch up though and defeat both Cinderace and Ludicolo before going down to his Kartana. I sent out Eruptress to deal with Kartana. Then out came Landorus. Sadly, Eruptress fainted, so I sent out my Primal Groudon to hopefully take it out, and I was so close to doing so. Sadly, Landorus did not hold back and destroyed my entire team. If only Groudon had taken it out, I could have won. Well, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more 100-day videos, and I'll see you later. Bye!